Start.
Yeah, y'all already know. Seven the Panther. That dude Biz on the beat. Yeah. We live in entertainment. Sound change. Crown the kings, homie. This is where it get ill. About to have the tip off live as a tip drill. From the court to the diamond, to the track, to the big skin flying round the field. Starting five forever, keeping it real. If it matters in the world of sports, blue jeans and long sleeves, they taking no shorts. Hot to death, oh yes, these are the sports podcasts live as a pros course. Biz market wave, the starting five goes off. No matter who you cheer for, emotions out the window, they analyzing with clear thoughts. They take it way deeper than the boys ever. No longer got any use for the four letters. The latest news, score stats and the view from the sideline. Ain't no guideline, it's just the truth. Yeah, no need to dig for a pardon line. It's always in season and people starting five. We going in on three, run the baseline, starting five. Get it, we got what you need. If it's sports news you see, we don't waste time. We talking cause we live it. We got what you need. We going in on three, run the baseline, starting five. Get it, we got what you need. And y'all know me, seven sign, I'm the illest cat stick. I got what you need.
Oh man, in this Africa hot ass weather, we making sure we bringing y'all what y'all need. You know, I'm the only one that decided to be outside in the plantations of Staten Island, New York, while everybody else is chilling inside the 60-degree weather. But y'all know who it is. It's me, your boy, the mayor, that DJ named Ace5, your mom's favorite fat guy, all the way from deepest, darkest Africa, back with the newest episode of the Starting Five. As always, I need y'all to hit that QR code at the top corner. Find everything Starting Five podcast related. The crew bailed out on me, but nonetheless, I always make sure I got a dope crew of individuals around me. And this week, I had to go out to my peoples from TikTok. And I had to go bring these good brothers on. I got Sauce and I got Prime. What up, y'all? Who wants to go first and introducing themselves?
I am Sauce, of course, since you brought up TikTok. Sauce, of course, on TikTok. Sauce and Company podcast, which is a separate thing. Then I got a podcast with my man Prime here, the Sports Bar Podcast. It's actually a group on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, feel free to join the group, the SBP Sports Bar Podcast. We talk sports, hip-hop, TV, movies, beer, etc.
No doubt. And I'm your boy Prime. My partner just gave a great introduction. Let you know who I am for the most part. They also call me the Sports Bar Kingpin. Ain't as big on TikTok as my man, but I do my thing here and there. But you can always find me there. You can find me, as he mentioned, on the Sports Bar Podcast group on Facebook, the SBP. And we do it all, man. We do it all.
Yeah, pause. I was gonna say none of us as big as Sauce on TikTok yet, but we'll get there. We'll get there. But last but not least, we got the brother returning from last week. Amakwa, what's up, brother?
What's going on, fellas? What's going on? All right. Yeah, my name is Makwa, Big O, whatever y'all want to call me. I'm kind of new to the podcast thing, so I'm learning. I'm learning from the greats though right now. So I'm just piggyback off of y'all for a couple of sessions, man.
So, well, man, you did your thing last week, and I think this week's show was staying in all of our wheelhouses, which is football and the hip hop culture. But first off, besides shout outs to the homie Omega's son, go check out the Block Radio on YouTube. He's been doing this thing on the Block Radio channel on YouTube. Good brother, very good brother, very introspective, into the cigar, just like myself, man. But how's everybody been, man? How's everybody's weeks been? What's been going on personally that y'all willing to divulge to the people?
I'm good. I've been good. It's been a good week for me. I've been doing what I normally do. Work, podcast a little bit, drink a lot of beer. I drink a lot of beer. So I've been doing a lot of that. And For those who don't know, if you can't tell, if you can see behind me a little bit, but kind of a comic book geek too. So I've been geeking out on some of the San Diego Comic-Con stuff, Wakanda Forever, all that stuff. So it's been good.
Well, I'm gonna get back to you on that Wakanda Forever trailer in a second, but Source.
Yeah. I'm here, bro. You know, another day, another dollar, trying to make it. Trying to make it, bro. Trying to make it day to day. That's all. That's all I'm trying to do. Shoot.
That's it. The daughters are good. The whole family's good.
Yeah, man. Daughter's good. One. Well, here's the thing, Dan. Look, you know I play the music on TikTok now, right? But she gonna need that iPad back in about 2 weeks. I don't know what I'm gonna do. When she go back to class, my oldest daughter's in grad school, and she like, bro, look, I'm gonna need that iPad back real soon. So I'm gonna be stuck in, and then my other daughter goes back to college, up not too far from you, about 4 hours from you, and another 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, got to take her back up there. So that's all that's going on over here.
Yeah, it's funny. Now, do your daughters call each other, bruh?
Yeah,
because I know my daughters do that shit too, and I be like, yo, since when you got a brother? Since when you got? And I say that as far as checking them, and they did turn it to girl, but inside it still bothers me that I didn't have a boy. You know what I'm saying? Like it does. I'm perfectly happy and I'm perfectly fine with my 3 daughters, but inside it does get me that I didn't have the boy. So every time they say bruh, I check them like, where's your brother at? Show me.
My daughters have an imaginary brother up in this joint, and they talk about him all the time. So, but yeah, they call each other bro. They've been doing it for at least 5 to 7 years, at least. No, more than that, because my oldest daughter graduated, and they were doing it before she even went to college. So it's just a regular thing. One of them said it last night. Like, my brother can ready to come downstairs. I'm like, hold on, bro. Like, no, she's talking about my sister, not the imaginary brother. Oh, by the way, the imaginary brother's name is Nico. Just throwing that out there.
Oh, okay. They kept it Virginia, right? Shout out to the Neptunes. Marco, how you been? How's everything with you?
I'm good, man. Just trying to beat this heat, man. You know, like your boy said, man, we got to unwrap that Wakanda Forever though, because that shocked me last night. You know,
yeah, yo, too many fucking Easter eggs in that joint.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, a lot of the characters was already being talked about being in it, but as soon as I seen that heart welded and she knocked it out, I was like, we're getting Ironheart?
Ironheart. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's what that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw Submariner. I was like, oh, okay, they bring a Submariner. All right, they bring a Namor.
Yeah.
But I didn't get the Ironheart. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, well, the Namor part, and I know Prime was aware, they were talking about that as soon as they even announced the Black Panther 2 was coming, because they would now, like, the way I understand that the movie's supposed to go is it's kind of like on some Crip versus Blood, you know, above land versus underwater beef. Which also, too, both of those brothers were a part of the Illuminati, which they did bring us in the Multiverse of Madness, and
right.
A lot of connective tissue, Prime, right?
Yeah, you can go back to even on the Avengers Endgame, and right at the beginning when they're talking, and remember Scott Black Widow was talking to some of the heroes, and they mentioned he said there was like some underwater rumblings or whatever, like it sounded like an earthquake, whatever it was, and they said they investigated, and she was just like, no, that was supposed to kind of get your mouth watered and start thinking about, you know, are we talking about Submariner here? Are we talking about Namor here? You know, are we going to get him down the road? You know, that was supposed to kind of, you know, open up a little bit when she made that comment.
Yeah.
I was talking to Okoye, yeah.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't in the comics, didn't Doom play a part in this as well?
He did. He actually did. So that's what the speculation is. Is this really how they're going to introduce Doom, and we just don't end up seeing him until maybe the end, or maybe even in the end credits? So, but there people are speculating that this is the time. You know, we're going to see him now rather than them waiting for whenever the Fantastic Four comes.
Right.
See now, I think they should keep us. Even though I love fucking Doom, I love Doom, and I guess it's tied to my MF Doom love too. But and we're gonna get to the hip hop in a minute, but they should long play that out, just
Yeah.
like they did with Thanos, which is my all-time favorite anything in comics. Thanos is my guy. So
I'm
when
with
I
you.
first
Yeah, I like to see that happen too, my brother. I think that I like him to play it out, but if they're going to show him, I don't even. If you want to put him at the end of one of the the end credit scenes, real quick before we go off, drive everybody crazy, I'm fine with it, right?
yeah.
Thanos, way before we ever saw Thanos, you know. So I'd rather see that, but you know, that's just a speculation that we're going to see him or get some word of him at some point in this movie, and it may not happen though. So you never know.
Yeah, and just to wrap on this part because we're nerding out way too far on Source right now. But I'm glad to have seen Letitia Wright back in the fold. You know, because we all heard about the ordeal with her and the COVID vaccine and all that, which I was on her side on that because I didn't personally want to get it either. Respect to everybody who felt the way they did about the vaccination. I ended up having to get it because, like I mentioned, I'm a family dude. I gotta protect my paycheck.
Yeah.
And in the city of New York put their foot on our neck was get this vaccine or be fired and be jobless. So a nigga couldn't be jobless.
Yeah.
But so I respect the points of view on it and all that. But I'm glad, I guess, the world worked itself out that it looks like she's going to be back in. She should be back in this whole movie, hopefully, and it's not just the scene she filmed before bailing on it.
And real quick, and let's just, a lot of people have to remember, this is more than likely. So the movie's in November. This is more than likely just a teaser trailer. We can probably do another trailer here before too long.
Oh, absolutely.
But you know, I'll say this: it's been a long time that my eyes really watered up. But last night, I ain't gonna front. I got a little emotional last night. So when I saw that bad boy, it kind of messed me up.
Yeah, the painting.
Yeah. That ain't me. I don't cry too much.
Y'all want my contribution to this conversation?
Absolutely.
I have nothing to contribute. All I have is my homie actually worked on the movie.
Nice.
And he sent me the link, and I didn't even think anything of it when he sent it. And then I was like, "Oh, I should probably post this." 5 minutes later, Lupita was posting that joint. I was like, "Dang, I think I missed a moment. I had the joint in my hand, I missed a moment." Oh well.
No, but talking about not missing moments though, Redman reposted your joint though.
Yeah.
Yo. that was a shocker. I was surprised. I'll take it though. Appreciate it.
Why not?
Yeah, he got the big shout out in the group. My claim to fame was getting a retweet, I believe, from Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank. I was all happy, but my man right here got Redman now. I'm a little jealous.
Yeah. I still got he's a long time goal of mine to get on this show, and he's not but only a few friends away that I could reach out to, you know what I'm saying? So I gotta try to make that happen, man. But
you know, I had the Pete Rock joint though. I did have the Pete Rock joint. I forgot about that, but that's
yeah. Shout outs to Pete Rock. And you know what? That's actually another piece of something we're gonna talk about in a second when we get to the hip hop portion real quick, because you know he's been butting his nose in some joints that you know, it's a little convoluted, but not that convoluted. But what now became convoluted for some, but not for this man, which was Kyler Murray. Just signed a 5-year extension, 230, 160 guaranteed, 104 signing bonus. Imagine that. I mean, we'll never probably see that money in our lives, but just to put your fucking pen to paper, Source, here's $104 million. God damn
it. We're going to Sizzler, baby. We going to Sizzler.
Right? We go to Sizzler.
Yeah, I can't be mad at it. I can't say I'm shocked. First of all, just know when we're out of a sport, Prime will tell you, when we're outside of a sport time frame, I check out. So halftime, I don't know what's going on. Draft, nothing. I just get the little bits and pieces. But as far as this Kyler Murray money, I'm kind of surprised that they went that heavy, especially after the end of last season. Kind of a weird ending. Kind of a, did he kind of give up on the squad, or did the squad give up on him? Like, what exactly happened at the end of the season for Arizona? But he is definitely a difference maker. I'm not a big money guy either, so y'all tell me. It looked like an overpayment to me. I don't know.
I personally wouldn't say that, Makwa. I think this is more of this is the market now for the quarterbacks. I think this is where we're at for the quarterbacks. And to keep it real, this just upped Lamar Jackson's stock something crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of bread to throw at somebody that's never been to the conference championships. You know, I don't know. I mean, I was looking at his stats. You could have an argument if that he's in the top 5, top 8 quarterbacks in the league right now. And I get it. I mean, Arizona, they want to lock him up, for the long haul. His agent is a player. He's a player in this game now, because for him to get that, get him that kind of money for somebody that's never been in the conference championship is mind boggling. Because I know Mahomes is looking like, damn, like, I've been to the Super Bowl twice. So I've been to the Super Bowl twice, conference championship 3 years in a row. And this dude making more than me. I mean, and then you have guys like Tom Brady, who's never, when he was with the Patriots, he was never the top money maker over there. So, it's I don't know, it's funny to me.
Well, you mentioned Tom though. Tom did it smart because he could have always been like he's one of those guys like a LeBron James, like a Michael Jordan. They always should be the highest paid players in their league. But he understood that it's a team game. It takes having cap room to make sure you can get the right pieces to be able to win. And so he always took those smart deals to make sure the franchises have enough to spread around. Now, I'm not mad at these brothers going to get their money at all, Prime. I'm not mad at them going to get their money at all. And like I said, this is where the quarterback market is. But you mentioned Mahomes, and Mahomes did sign, like, if he plays his full potential, he did sign a $500 million deal. It's just about that yearly annual money that looks different.
I think right now the only guys that's in his stratosphere, if I read up on it, it was Rodgers. It's Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, which I mean is more egregious than what Arizona did. Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers, and Mahomes. So it's those guys that's in his stratosphere right now.
Josh Allen.
I think Rodgers is still making a little bit more than he is.
Yeah, Josh Allen up there too. He can get a little change. Man, I think this is where it's going. I'll just be honest with you. And, we always talk about what's a top 10 quarterback and who shouldn't be top 10. You'd be surprised if you've ever really sat down and really looked at the list once you get past the top 4 or 5. That same person that you were originally thinking may not actually be a top 10 quarterback might be sitting at number 7 or 8 when you really think about it. So you look at him, he's a guy that now they haven't set the world on fire. They got, where they go, 11-6. I think he was responsible for 9 of those wins last year. They've improved, the win total since he's gotten there, season by season. And I guess if you're trying to keep up at least with what's going on in your division, you got to make an investment somewhere. I mean, the Rams, aren't going anywhere. I mean, the Rams just won the Super Bowl, and they loading up on all-star players to add to that. So they're going to be there. The 49ers figure to probably be good if they can just, figure out their quarterback situation. They're good enough to to split with anybody in the division at least during the course of the season. And Seattle's the only real question. So getting paid that type of money, I just think it's where it's going. You know, Source and I talked before on our show. I said, say what you want to about Kyler Murray, where his heart is, where his head is. This guy throws one of the prettiest floats I've ever seen in my life to be somebody that small. Like the way he is floating is crazy. I'm like, ain't no way. He just throwing it up in the air and the ball just drops in. You know, and they made the investment. They lost. You know, they had a Christian Kirk last year. He's gone, but they bring in a Hollywood Brown to go deep. You know, so it looks like they're prepared once they get everything sorted out, D-Hop and everything, to back him on this money. You know, so I just think where it's going. So the brother's gotten paid, and we'll just see if it pans out.
Yeah, and let's keep it real. Like the level of money that it looks at for him, he's not going to be in the top 5 of highest paid for long. Because like you said, this is just where the market is. This is the way it's going for the quarterback position. To me, I still personally think that the quarterback position is overvalued in this league because everything gets put on them. Meanwhile, if you don't have a great offensive line, it don't matter who you have at quarterback. And I'm sorry, call my center bias all fucking day. Yes, call it. I don't care. The offensive line is the most important position on the football field. You have no O-line, you don't have shit unless you have a Barry Sanders type of player behind the ball.
No, I was gonna say more importantly, that blindside tackle. You know,
yeah,
that blindside tackle. You need a brick wall right there. You know.
Yeah, but Source though, like I mentioned the name before, Lamar Jackson. I mean, he's playing his own agent. I believe he's reporting to camp now, but he's been holding out in a way via, he wants that big time money. And we're talking about an MVP.
Exactly. We're talking about somebody that has earned whatever he thinks he deserves, especially when you say looking at the market and how the value of the quarterback or the pay of the quarterback has increased quite a bit, it seems. You see somebody like Kyler Murray get paid. Oh, if Kyler Murray getting paid, I'm getting paid. I got to get paid. MVP, you see the difference in the squad. You see the leadership. You see even in bad games, he's still the dominant force on the offense. Like there will always be an argument on his passing. There will always be certain people who will say something about his passing ability to try to find something to bring the man's value down. But Lamar Jackson is a problem, and I'm not sure it's that many teams out there that wouldn't trade their quarterback for that guy.
Oh, 100%, man. And to be honest with you, I forcefully have to put my trust and faith in Jalen Hurts, as we do. But I would take Lamar Jackson in a fucking heartbeat as an Eagles fan. I really would. Now, speaking of that in fandoms, Prime, you never gave us your fandoms. Same thing with you, Amaku. Other than I see Prime, you're a Knicks fan.
All day.
Amaku, you declared you was a Knicks fans with us last week.
Yes. I go with the Knicks.
Football, baseball, whatever other fan. Where do y'all fandoms lie? I know his sources. We're Eagles fans, but he's a Lakers fan. So he kind of splits on us with that with the basketball. But where do y'all fandoms lie?
Nah, I'm a Giants fan all day. You know, I can't stand the Jets as much as I can't stand the Eagles. No disrespect. You know, I'm a Knicks fan. I can't stand Brooklyn. You know, and I'm a Yankees fan. My pops. So I grew up with my pops. He's a Mets fan. So, but as I got older, yeah, I gravitated more towards the Yankees.
It's just like my father. My father's a fucking Mets fan too. It makes no sense. It's like I'm Eagles, Knicks, Yankees. He's Giants, Mets, and Giants, Mets, and Knicks. My brother, Jets, and New Jersey Devils fan. You know, I'm a Rangers fan. Like my sister liked the Ravens because her favorite color was purple. and they happen to win the Super Bowl when she decided to start. Like we're a whole mess. We're a whole mess. But Prime, where do yours land?
Well, kind of all over the place. Kind of like Source. You got to understand, we're in the 804. We're in VA, so we don't really have any big professional sports teams. We got some right up the street within an hour or two, couple of hours. But so I kind of grew up all over the place. So yeah, I am a New York Knicks fan. I am a Dallas Cowboy fan. And my
Nope, get out.
baseball
Leave,
team,
leave.
the Atlanta Braves.
Oh man, God damn it, man! I thought we was cool. At least we got the Knicks.
We got
At least
that,
we
right?
got. Well, but fuck 2/3 of your. Oh, I hated the Braves since the '90s. I'm sorry, I never been to Atlanta. I want to go.
Say what you want. Say what you want about that Braves team though, but that pitcher lineup was bananas.
Oh yeah.
You gotta understand where Source and I we grew up. We had the Richmond Braves minor league team, which fed right into them. I lived literally 5 minutes from where they played and where the current team plays now. They're under the name Flying Squirrels, but we've been here through some of those guys that you saw on those teams, coming up, we've seen come through for a short, maybe a Chipper Jones, Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
Deion Sanders, so I live 5 minutes away from the ballpark.
Wow.
So, so that kind of helped too coming up, Dale Murphys and things like that. But yeah.
Wow.
I'll give you that, but yeah, that triple threat back in the day of Smoltz, Glavine, and Maddox was a nasty combination. It was a nasty combination, but still, it's just yuck, yuck. But we'll get right into the main course of all of this. Now we're gonna get into the hip hop culture and rap music, and now. Let's just, because y'all are from VA, whoever wants, which one of y'all want to take this first, is Virginia considered the South in rap terms, in hip hop terms? Like, is Virginia considered the South?
So here's the problem. Up north doesn't consider Virginia East Coast. The South doesn't necessarily consider Virginia the South because we're the mid-Atlantic. We're in the middle. So it's like us and Maryland are kind of like in between. Although historically, capital of the Confederacy, yes, Virginia is the South. So we're automatically linked to the South. But none of our, that's one of the problems why a lot of Virginia artists didn't get a chance to move, because we're right there at a point where there is no specific sound and we have no real allegiance. So we are whatever you say we are. Man, I'm quoting Eminem. You see that? Tell somebody, Dan. Tell them people on TikTok that I quoted Eminem.
We'll clip this. We'll clip that. We'll clip that. So all right. So we'll count from Virginia down as the South. Because I mean, to be honest, I never looked at y'all as the South in a way, but would never. Like you said, never really considered it as quote unquote East Coast, even though technically, everybody from fucking Maine to Florida is East Coast.
Right.
Technically, but the birthplace defined what East Coast sound was, and let's keep it real, in the origins of rap, because in a way we started this, everybody out there had to tried or emulated or resembled their favorites out of New York, out of the birthplace. Everybody had their own sounds, it's debatable within the boroughs where, people are trying to now say Brooklyn, not now recently, but over the years, people tried to say Brooklyn was really the start of it, because how the culture even started was the party and the DJ crew and the big sound systems. There was DJs in Brooklyn who was already doing that. There was DJs in Queens. There was DJs everywhere who was doing what the Bronx coined into our culture's name of hip hop. There were people all around doing it, but the South and everywhere else eventually adapted and adopted their own within it. That's where we get all the regional hits and stuff like that, or when we mention the song that it's not called Trigger Man, but everybody who knows the joint that's called Trigger Man, it's one of those defining songs and sounds of the South. We think of Uncle Luke and what the Miami bass sound was doing. And that's one of those defining sounds of, they don't even call Florida the South. Like, we just think of the South as country ass niggas. If you get what I'm saying, like it
Yeah,
just kind of looks at it, it gets looked at as like country fools. That's the South, but yet Miami is probably the most southern sound we got.
Right.
But all right. So I have a question though. Going back to you're asking about Virginia, but wouldn't you say that Virginia sound is different from say like Georgia or Miami? Like because Virginia, you think of Virginia, it's synonymous with Timberland, right? So you listen to Timberland sound, and then you go down to Georgia, say Outkast or Pastor Troy. It's two totally different sounds, in my opinion. So
Absolutely.
so but still Timberland's music, Timberland sound is different from New York. You know what I'm saying? It's more similar to New York. That was Jay, one of Jay's favorite producers. You know what I'm saying? But I think so. I mean, if I had to choose, I would say that my opinion, I would say that Virginia was more closer to the New York sound as opposed to, down south, Georgia, Florida sound.
yeah. I tell the story all the time. I telling my age, but I always remember like the clear disconnect of boundaries. So years ago, I remember when Eric B. and Rakim came out, right? And they came out with Eric B. as president. And I remember the first time I heard it, and I'm here in VA on a basketball court, and the cousin of mine comes in with the CD, and he's playing it outside or whatever, and he has the boom box playing.
Tape.
Everybody's like, "What is that?" And he's like, "That's fire." That's Eric B. and Rakim. You got to burn it, man. That's off the chain, right? I lie to you not. About 2 weeks later, we used to go on visit. I have family all further south than us, and we would go to Georgia. Went to Georgia. Got 4 cousins living in one house. As hip hop as they come. I take the tape down there. Play this. Yo, y'all VA cats off the chain, man. I said, "No, this ain't VA. This these cats from New York, man. I just got this tape out 2 weeks ago." They never heard it, right? And these are cats, and they were hip hop cats. They had never heard it. And he was like, "Y'all cats," and they always refer to us as y'all up there. I don't know, like, if even down south, further down south, do they even really consider us the South, right? I don't know. I guess it depends on who you ask, but it was just crazy within a 2-week period, that jump from New York to VA to down south, and all of us below were just hearing that like for the first time.
And when you talk about the sound, you mentioned Timberland, but Timberland has a sound, but he's not the sound of Virginia. Because there's, like, if you think of St. Louis, you think of Nelly. That's the sound of St. Louis. Everybody else branched out from that sound and kind of used the same sound to get on. It's not a lot of Timberland sounding people in Virginia. And we also have Timberland, Bink, Knots. Like, you can throw Teddy Riley in there. Not really, but Teddy Riley, Pharrell. So there's a lot of different sounds across Virginia.
And you mentioned the name that I wanted to get to, which was Teddy Riley. I mean, can we say Teddy Riley was the author of what would we could kind of say a Virginia sound. I would say he was the lead inspiration because we know Pharrell worked with him and a lot of things, again, adapted and elevated past after Teddy Riley, which was a Harlem thing.
I was going to say, where's Teddy Riley from?
No, right. Which we know his origins, but a New Yorker made bass in Virginia and then gave birth to.
Yeah.
So can we almost fairly say that a New Yorker was the birth of in the hip hop culture? He was the birth of the Virginia sound, if there was a specific Virginia sound.
I don't know, Source. Do we have a sound?
we don't have a sound.
Yeah, that's what's funny.
There is no Virginia sound.
I don't know if we have a sound. We've had so much come out of Virginia. And it took us a while really to get our due, but we've had so much to come out of Virginia, but I don't know if it's really just a Virginia sound, which is crazy.
No,
There's no
and I can
artist you're
see
gonna
that.
hear say that's Virginia. There's no artist that you hear and be like, well, they got to be from Virginia. There's
They
nobody.
have to be, yeah.
I just thought it was a valid question, but as thinking about it while saying the question and y'all letting us know as the Virginia residents here, there really is no. And when you think about it, like the Neptune sound, what we knew as the Neptune sound, we didn't first truly hear them until Nori, Queens. We didn't first truly hear Timbaland till Jay-Z. Again, Teddy Riley, a New Yorker, moving to Virginia, living out there, and really getting a lot of things popping from. So it's in a way, I'm not trying to define it, but y'all are just as East Coast as us with their own original sounds. And I'm saying with the own original sound of Pharrell and what the what they did was set so far apart from everybody else. That's why they became who they were. But they wore their Virginia flag on their chest. You know what I'm saying? That's what I kind of see from it.
And yet, if you came to Virginia, you would be hard pressed to find somebody with a sound like that. You would hear more South sounding people, artists, rappers trying to get on, sounding like the South versus Timbaland or East Coast.
Yeah.
Right. And then when you mention Knots, who is arguably one of the greatest living. I mean, not arguably, he is one of the greatest living. It's weird whether you put him in a top 5, top 10, or whatever. A lot of people ain't like Knots.
Yeah.
I mean, Knots is almost like he is Jay Dilla level in some respects. Mad Lib level in some respects. You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of the mainstream still ain't utilizing him the way they should. I mean, he's got his credits out there. I know Busta bigged him up like crazy over the years, but Knots is the fucking truth, y'all. Like, if y'all not up on Knots, go turn your radios off and listen to fucking Miley Cyrus or somebody. I don't know.
We're just a big collage, man. Like we were sitting there thinking about all the, Source made some great points, and you think about all the people that we've had, the producers and the acts, and you may think you're hearing something Southern here, something further, up north here, and then you go back and think about, you were talking about the Neptunes. Should we even think about NERD? Right on that line, rock, hip hop, Pharrell and them. That pretty much originated in Virginia Beach, or they did, before Teddy sounded. So it's just a big collage. So I don't know if it's just one sound. It's just a big collage. It's crazy.
Right. Yeah, true indeed. But I guess because y'all are south from us, y'all the South, even though a lot of people do kind of consider North Carolina to be kind of that real true Southern border, like North Carolina down, which I get that. Because you could even hear Fonte say, yeah, I'm a Southern boy, you know what I'm saying? Even though North Carolina it's only a 10-hour drive from us, but it's still Southern from us. But we were here to talk about some of these Southern rappers' top 25 lists out there. And let me see if I am using the phone. I don't know if I could do screen share on here through the phone, but I'm not even worried about it. I might lose my face for a second. But yeah, there was a list that was floating around out there. Shout out to the homie Jamal who couldn't make it this week. He shared a list with us that somebody put up on a Facebook page that I'm not saying their name because they've been off of HATG for years, but they made this top 25 Southern MCs list. And starting off at number 1 was Scarface, followed by Lil Wayne, Pusha T, J. Cole, T.I., Big Boy, Rick Ross, Andre 3000, Luda, CeeLo, Bun B, MJG, 8-Ball, Pimp C, Killer Mike, Fonte, Currency, J Electronica, 2 Chainz, Mystical, Project Pat, Juvenile, Jeezy, Sci-Hi, and disrespectfully, in my opinion, at 25th, Rhapsody.
Rhapsody. You said Rhapsody.
Yes, at 25. There's I don't say that there's a lot of problems with a list like that, But placement on certain MCs, depending on what you look at, that list is pretty damn subjective.
I would like to hope that it's in no particular order.
Well, I ran it down. I ran it down from 1 to 25, and this list was numbered 1 to 25. So I too would love to have read that in a no particular order, but what I want to do, because we're gonna recreate our own, we're gonna just do a top 10, and I want to decipher should there now. To me, these lists are subjective, and I see your face, so I'm going to you first. But these lists are subjective. Top 25s, top 10s, top 5s, whatever the case may be. To me, it's always your personal list. A lot of people feel that there should be this one master list. So if we were creating a master list, what would be some of the criteria that belongs to be in a top 10?
The ability to make a song. The ability to make a song. To be able to cover different topics. Not every song is money driven. Not every song is drug driven. Not every song is women driven. I mean, you got 1, 2, 3, and you can still go outside of those 3 and make a song about something else. To me, I feel like there has to be some type of all around-ness about an MC. Personally, and I know this is going to lead to the argument that we're going to have in a little bit.
I already know where you're going.
I think that you should. I think that you should have solo work, or not even solo work. Well, solo work, generally speaking. But I also think there is one anomaly. Okay, there is.
Here we go.
There is.
Say his name. Say his.
Okay, so we going there.
3,000
We going there.
does not fall into the categories of these other arguments. Like, he doesn't, because he supersedes them in other ways. But yeah, you got it.
Okay, all right. We'll get back to the criteria in a second, because 3,000 was definitely a point of contention in this conversation. I love 3,000 just like everybody else does. Big fan of Andre 3000 just like everybody else does. But when we use that one piece of criteria of knowing how to make a song and having bodies of work individually, he knows how to make a damn song. He knows how to rap, just go bar heavy on somebody and rapping his heads off. But it comes back to that body of work stuff. And that is one of those arguments that when I was just talking with Prime first pre-show, the goalpost moving that gets done for Andre 3000. Now, I was going to bring up Jay Electronica in this argument, but we don't have to. We could just bring up his rap partner in Big Boy, who does all of the above that we mentioned, plus has about 6 plus, maybe almost close to 8 albums that are all dope. That's where, like, that list that I read off where it had Big Boy over 3,000, I kind of was just like, okay, somebody finally recognizes it without the goalpost moving. Somebody recognizes that Big Boy does exactly what you just said, Source. You know what I'm saying? But when you talk to other fans, they'll still give you the yeah, but still. Saying he's an anomaly without saying he's the anomaly in this whole conversation, Prime.
See, this is so tough, because anytime we have these type of discussions, whether it's hip hop, sports, whatever, we have to figure out and define exactly what the criteria is. You know, and you brought up the case. I'm not gonna lie, when I first look at the list, I'm like, Okay, somebody definitely, I mean, went there and put Big Boy on top of Andre 3000. And a lot of people think that's blasphemy, right? And I'm a Big Boy fan, so let's just go and get that out there. I've always felt like he's been thoroughly disrespected in his hip hop thing. But if you're laying out the criteria, and the criteria is in fact, if we're looking at it because he's done this solo work, regardless of what you think about it, and done the solo album. Okay, I'm gonna give you that. If the criteria is just based on the subject of who do you think is the better MC, or you want to take into account of why you think Andre is genius. Because somebody might have the argument with Andre is the fact that, yeah, he doesn't do the solo work because he only wants to put out the very, very best product. And he said time and time in interviews when they asked him why he hasn't done any music lately, he basically tells you, I'm not feeling it right now. I have to be in that feeling. I have to be in that battle. I'll know when it's go time, if it's ever go time. And I'm not going to sell myself short, sell the public, that listen to my music short, but just putting out an album or putting out music just because you want to hear it. I'm not feeling. I've read that several times over the past few years, and they talked about his solo joint or him even doing another Outkast album, period. So to me, it's just kind of, what is the exact criteria when we're having these conversations? I'm not going to down anybody for putting Big Boy ahead of him if the criteria is what we just talked about. All right. And that's pretty much why I leave it. I don't really have a deep feeling on it. Now, I would question to an extent anybody that has Andre 3000 that far down the list. But then again, I have to remind myself, and I get told this in our group all the time, my people, it's a matter of opinion and it's subjective. So, but
Yeah, and that's we can have the conversation of the criteria, and I like Source's criteria because it's valid in some respects. Like even when these lists are always totally subjective, like it's always what you feel that you like. You know what I'm saying? There can never be a master list. There can never be a master list in just about anything. Like people know, I struck nerves a couple months ago by saying Michael Jordan ain't the GOAT.
right.
And here's why. Because you discredit and disrespect a whole 2 or 3 generations of basketball before him to get to him. And usually these things come up to what was or who was the best during your time of reference or your youth, your teenage years, your formidable years is what was the best to you. Hence why I'm sure if we were to say what was the best era of rap, we would all unify would say it was the 90s. Late 80s into the 90s. That's when we grew up. We're always attached to what we grew up with. And to know that Andre 3000's close to that as a creative, I get it. As a creative, I get it because I haven't picked up my camera probably since the last time I worked for Rare Breed Entertainment, which was 2018. I have to be inspired to want to use my camera. The podcast thing, I'm inspired at the drop of a dime. All you gotta say is, hey, Dan, come on my show. What are we talking about? I can learn about what we're talking. I can know what we're talking about that day. I'm ready to go because I'm always ready to talk my shit. But so I understand that. It always makes this. It's always just a thing of subjectivity. And like when we think of a Makwa when we think of like a 3000, you can look at Lauryn Hill in that same respect, where people still to this day will say Lauryn Hill is the #1 women's rapper ever, with one subjectively R&B album. And I was just listening to an old episode of Questlove's podcast, and they was bringing up he had a beef about a listing with Lauryn Hill, mentioning Lauryn Hill's album was more R&B album, but people still put her as the best women's rapper. And I think it goes a lot to what you were saying, and you can add on the romanticizing of an artist.
Hmm. Yeah, agreed. Like I remember I was when I was in the military, I was down in Georgia, what, 98, 99. So that was pretty much the height of Outkast. So and before that, so I'm really not too familiar with Outkast's first album, but from damn, what was the second album?
ATL.
Second AT Aliens, Aquemini, Stankonia. That's what I know. And listening to Andre that 3000, I'm like, wow, yo, okay, he's somebody special. So as a fan, I kind of feel like I'm robbed, like I'm being robbed that he's not coming out with any more new music. But like you said, like that was when I was bombarded with his music, and he I mean, and this is also coming from the time when I just finished listening to Master P and Cash Money, and I know good rap music. Andre 3000 was good rap music. You know what I'm saying? Dudes like 3 6 Mafia, Project Pack, they're on a lower echelon. Now, also another beef I have with the list. Where was Lil Wayne at on this list?
Number 2, right?
Lil Wayne to me, my opinion, shouldn't have been in the top 10. Like, I'm not a fan of Lil Wayne at all. You know what I'm saying? Lyric wise, he had a good run with the mixtapes. He's never told the story like as far as telling the stories, as far as Slick Rick. I'm not even going to talk about Slick Rick. Let's not even go there. Raekwon, Nas, Jay. He's come out and said he doesn't tell stories. So it's like I really want to know what his criteria lies as far as, because Lil Wayne number 2 and Ludacris is like what, number 8, number 10, something like that.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. Wayne should be 15. I mean, I put him ahead of Project Pat and all them, but number 2 is way too high for Lil Wayne. No.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
I get you, but a common theme, and I know Source probably gets tired of me saying it, but I always say there's a hot period. We were just talking about something this morning, he and I, on the show. Sometimes rappers, comedians, actors, there's a time period sometimes when people are just hot. And no matter what you do at some point, you can't always go back and duplicate it, no matter how hard you try. Am I the biggest Lil Wayne fan out there? Nah. But I will admit, when he really got started on his solo stuff, who was it? The Block is Hot. And then a few years later, when he hit that Carter run, he's got something that a lot of these rappers cannot say that was on his list. There was a time you couldn't turn on the radio and not hear Lil Wayne. And this for years. And I ain't talking about one song. So whether he did a feature, whether it was one of his songs, something like My Daddy Five, all that stuff, he had a nice chunk, more than a couple of years, whereas you could not turn on the radio without hearing him. And let's be real, and it was hot. And also, too, to be 100%, it ain't just the black kids that like him. It's a lot of white kids that look at this dude like, yo, Wayne. I mean,
and that radio point you made was one of those things that I wanted to get into, was Lil Wayne, especially up here in New York radio. If you're familiar with New York radio, especially from the late 90s to the 2000s, the early to mid 2000s, there was certain artists that had a whole quarter locked down on the radio. Lil Wayne was definitely one of those cats. That's why to see him at number 2 on that list, I wasn't mad because I got it. Plus, also, I look at him as, I remember from the beginning of him with The Block is Hot and all that. That was my favorite in the beginning. Then when it was Blood Wayne, I was like, yeah, you can have that. But I got it. And it wasn't our generation thing. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't my type of rap hip hop thing. But he had a movement like none other. But he had a summer like how Jadakiss would lock down quarters, Busta Rhymes would lock down quarters, and Jay-Z, it was annually. You knew spring to summer was Jay-Z's 2 quarters of the year for the most part. But Lil Wayne was in that rotation of he held down summers, falls, whether it's whatever. He held it down. So I wasn't too mad at a person like him on that list. And if we're going to add criteria to the situation, like that would be one of those things, like your mass influence. Like, what was your mass influence? Now, is that a part of my criteria? It all depends on who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if I were to give y'all my top five is more of a, I'll give you my top five. It's not really Southern based, but it's KRS-One, Jay-Z, Redman, Sean Price, and Doom. Doom and Sean Price can flip flop, but KRS, because as Source said, like you should have a little bit of everything. KRS was the 5-tool MC, if we're talking in baseball terms. KRS-One could do it all. Jay-Z could do it all, but also on the business end of things, not many people can match it. That was where my goalpost movement comes in. You know, Jay-Z could be easily number one also, but for me, he's not. But then Redman was just one of those, it's a personal. He is one of the greatest that people don't put in their top five for some reason. Some people. And then Sean Price and Doom, it was personal attachment to me. Plus the replayability of their music surpasses so many others. So I don't know if other people have criteria in that when it comes to their own list, but I don't look at the masses should have my criteria. So you know what I'm saying? And like, do you remember a few years back? It was like, I think it was on VH1 or MTV where they had a lot of these hip hop publications trying to make an overall top 50 list or something like that. Like they made their own criterias to try to make one master list. And it was like, no, you can't tell me what should be in mine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's an argument that people kept asking me when I would mention top five or in a discussion about top fives. They'd be like, well, what's your criteria? And I'm like, my criteria? Like, if I have to explain, it's hard to explain your criteria to somebody else. And we're not all going to agree on what the criteria should be. So if we can't agree on what the criteria should be, then we're not going to agree on what the list should be. Because we all have that one piece of it that we value more than the other stuff. But it's always something different. You might say, well, if they don't have a classic album, then how can I consider them top five? Prime might be like, well, if they don't have a number one hit, if they don't have a hit that everybody loves, then how can I consider them top five? So we all might have different reasons for our list that are valid,
right?
But not weigh them the same, not weigh our options the same.
Yeah, true indeed. So you know what we're gonna do to cap off this show? Because like I said, this is a light one today, but this criteria discussion was valid in my point of view. And I think we all came to the conclusion that, hey, keep that shit to yourself. You know what I'm saying? I think it's the easiest way to say it. Keep that shit to what you feel is your criteria, because these things are subjective. But I still want to build a top 10 list. Is there, all right, there's 10, there's 4 of us, so we're going to take 2 picks each. But
Okay.
I think, and this is no particular order, I think we can unifiedly, in a unified manner, agree on 2.
This is Southern rappers.
2?
Southern rap. I think, and as I said, between the 4 of us,
I think we'll agree on 5.
All right, so I wanted to make this even where we could all add our own 2.
Yeah, gotcha.
That's 8. And then we got 2. So I'm making this a little harder for me.
I got you.
Make it a little, you got it? Because I know we could come up on 5. I'm sure we could all, you know what? Guests go first. So Prime, I'll start with you. Add your 2. And if you want to give a reason why, it's up to you.
Well, I'm gonna give you two. Now, one of them was number one, I believe, on the list for me is Scarface, and so it's probably something that's coming from me. One, I'm a Scarface fan. The longevity is one thing. Out of all the albums that he's put out, he may have had one that I wouldn't thought that was all that great, but he always would hit. And that's just the solo albums. I mean, we know about his work with the Ghetto Boys, but I'm definitely going Scarface on that. I think he's universal. When you hear artists talk about Southern artists, Scarface's name comes up. The other one might be a little controversial. Lisa?
And we'll go pause on the controversy for a second because you might have to give me some more. I think Scarface is the one name that we're all unified on.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's out of your list. Scarface is out of your list. Scarface is out of your list because we're all that's one of the two that we're all unified on.
Right.
So you gotta do better than that.
That was an easy pick.
Well, I mean, I'm a fan. So the other guy I had, and I don't know if it's really controversial, but some may say because depending on if you're going, I'm an old head, I'm not an old head, I like the new stuff, and it's really not that new. But we were just talking about Carolina a little while ago, and for me, I'm J. Cole, man. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm J. Cole. I think J. Cole, here you go. I think he deserves to be on this list because J. Cole, if you go back and look at this, it's not really been a short time. It seems like he's doing albums. He's almost never missed. Like he's managed to merge the newer generation and a lot of the older generation together, and he still hits. I tell Source all the time. One of my favorite moments. We see people perform all the time, and I granted I know he was in his hometown, but we see people performing their hometown and stuff all the time, and people might show him love. Right, and they might think it's a great performance because he's from here. But his performance a couple of years ago at the NBA All-Star game,
was crazy,
almost legendary. Like it comes out with the Charlotte starter jacket. The crowd was a true performance. It wasn't just because the guy performs and the guy hits on record. So
yeah, and you know what? I gave thumbs down on Cole. I joke when I say that. I don't hate J. Cole. The boy is one of the nicest out. His music just isn't for me. And that's all it is. I respect what he's done.
Yep.
I can put him up there. I'm not mad at your pick.
I'll say
but
this.
He's just not for me.
He got the biggest endorsements from two of the best to ever do it out of New York.
100%. 100%.
I said it. Rakim said it. Them two show you love. That's all I need.
Yeah, you certified. I did the thumbs down jokingly, but all right, you got to give us. We'll come back to you for your one more because you threw two out, but no, one of them didn't count because we're all united on that. Right. Source.
I'm going Luda first. I don't even need to really give. There's no need to give a whole.
Not for the South.
So Luda is easy. I mean, I guess I'm going to say 3,000. I don't guess I'm going to say 3,000. I'm going to say 3,000, but I was trying to think of somebody else that was not my obvious answer. 3,000 is in my top 3 MCs, top 4 MCs. So 3,000 for me.
Not bad. Now, is 3,000 a universal pick? Yes or no?
Yeah, I think so. For me, yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. So now you're stricken. You got what? I'll give you 3,000 too because it's stricken from the record. He's one of those universal soldiers too.
Okay.
So Scarface and 3,000 are up there.
Well, can we keep going? 1-1-1-1.
Yeah, we got that. So Marco, it's on you. We'll come back to these brothers for one more.
All right. So I want to change my answer because I forgot about J. Cole. And what's crazy with me and J. Cole, I really didn't start listening to him until the Forest Hills album. So I really haven't really broke down his first couple of albums before that. But the Forest Hills album going forward, yeah, he's like he's one of those dudes when you wake up that Friday morning and you find out that he has new music out. You sampling that the whole way to work. My opinion. You know what I'm saying? So J. Cole is up there for me, and Jay Electronica.
And
I'm
now
a
you have
big-
you J. Cole was already added to the list, so you
okay,
got to give
okay,
us two
okay.
names that aren't on the list.
Okay, all right. So Jay Elect, I gotta put Jay Elect up there. You know, oh man, as far as number two, go, all right, I'm gonna have to get some time to think about that one because you guys, everybody took all the good ones. So, but
Okay.
Jay Electronica is definitely up my pick.
So
No,
now
wait,
this
wait,
made it even
you said
harder.
Rhapsody too. You said Rhapsody too, right?
Nobody
Rhapsody was
said
on.
Rhapsody.
No, I'm saying Rhapsody was on that list, right? On that top 25 list.
Yes.
She was
Yes.
25.
Okay. Nah, I'm gonna give him my second pick because I don't know. I got to think about this one first.
Okay, because y'all just made it harder on me because I want to put a big boy. I want to put Project Pat because of Memphis, what he did with that sound, one of the best to ever do it out of that state. But for my personal liking, I have to go out of the state of North Carolina alone, and I have to pick Fonte and
Yeah.
Rhapsody because number one, Source already knows. Go check his posts out on his TikTok to see my comment of Miss Marlena.
Respect.
Yeah, I ain't gotta go no further. But Fonte, if you want to talk about best pens, period, a lot of y'all sleep still to this day. Y'all want to talk best pens, period. You want to talk about somebody who also could just straight out rap you. Yeah, he could do that too.
Did you ever see the episode or the clip I posted of my guy that went to school with Fonte?
No, I didn't.
My man said he used to rap a little bit, and they would have these ciphers at North Carolina Central, and he went down to this cipher, and it was the first time he heard Fonte, and Fonte freestyle for 45 minutes straight, flawless freestyle for 45 minutes straight, and he said, "You know what? I just packed my little rhymes up and went on about my business."
And there's always somebody in every cipher that could do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, Tigolo is, I mean, flawless work in the group Little Brother. And
Yeah.
I mean, a case can be made for even putting Big Pooh in the conversation. Because niggas sleep on
That's a
Pooh
big pick.
also.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm,
but Fonte, and again, I'm picking more towards what I like, but I know the masses would like. And it's just, and then when it comes to women, there's very few women that can truly out rap raps.
Exactly.
There's very few. And like, I mean, I have my own personal favorite women's list. Like, there's two that I know a lot of people haven't heard of that I rank high in my list. And that was Invincible and Eternia. But them, a Rhapsody, Jean Grey, you know, even a Rock, like there's people, you can't out rap some of these women. You know, Source, you might not like Invincible because a lot of people used to compare her as like the quote unquote women's
Yeah,
Eminem,
yeah, I remember.
but she was nothing like Eminem. She was just white from Detroit. That was the only comparison. But could rap her ass off.
Yeah.
Eternia, one of the illest. And again, people don't because they're white, but can rap their asses off. But I have heard nobody like a Rhapsody. I don't care, you man. I love Queen Latifah. I love Light. I love, you know, all the yo-yos and Kims and Foxy. None of these women can rap like Rhapsody. I'm sorry.
Word up.
None of them. No one. So for the South, I got to pick those two. So we got
7.
3 left to go.
okay.
3 left to go, and y'all got to decide from there.
I got my one. Fonte,
Okay.
I forgot about Fonte. I'm a huge Little Brother fan, so I know exactly what you're talking about. Is Ross on that list?
I was waiting for that.
Hey, ho. Yeah. Look, man. I was gonna say that, bro. And I was like, call me the king of controversy. That's a good one. I got another one, but because one thing Source and we agree on is Source might have the best beat maker in the game, bro. Like we always talk about. I mean, New York rap is another situation. We always have discussion about Nas, and people talk about Nas's, if he's great lyrically, but some of the beat choices down the line. And Source always says, man, if he had Rick Ross's beat maker, somebody like that, I think Ross got to be that. I think that was good. Ross got to be there, man.
That's one of those arguments.
I agree on that one.
That's one of those arguments that everybody makes though. And now wasn't Ross supposed to executive produce a Nas album because of that point?
I've never heard that.
I thought I've heard that somewhere before. That was supposed to But yeah. Also, I've turned a new leaf on Rick Ross over the years, man. Like his music ain't always my cup of tea, but he's got joints that I could fall back to. Mm-hmm. But the dude,
look, man,
hands down, man, that dude is incredible. What he's done.
The beat making is crazy, and then he's one of the people that can repeat himself or say nothing and it's still saying dope. Sound dope. I'm feeling lemon pepper. I'm thinking Wingstop. Like this dude is off the chain.
Oh. There's only 2 spots left, but there's Pimp C, MJG, 8-Ball, T.I.
Hold on, man. You forgetting somebody, bro.
Jeezy?
You should have already said his name already.
Who?
But how you gonna say Pimp C? And
Bun B.
Come on, bro.
I wasn't trying to put them together. I'm just trying to let them breathe. That's why I say MJG and 8-Ball at the same time. Let them breathe by themselves. But yeah, we got all those people left, and ain't but 2 spots.
It's on y'all.
I'm going.
It's on Virginia.
I'm going Weezy. Weezy F baby, please say the baby.
I ain't mad at it. I mean, this is just the who we think should be in a top 10. This isn't a defined. This is who we think should be in a top 10. And now, Prime, this is tough on you. You got the last ones. Sauce did you dirty.
I should have said it. But if we picked Weezy already. He's got to be on the list. So me personally, I guess it's just a matter of taste for me, or what I probably listen to the most of the artists that I see left. For me, I'm gonna say Bun B. I think Bun B, his catalog is crazy, and he's still doing it. And he's still super relevant. I mean, this dude has a radio show on Rock the Bells Radio, and I was looking at something when they said about a couple of months ago, they said it's the 3rd most listened to program on Rock the Bells Radio. That's crazy. So I think Bun got to be on that.
Shout out to Bun B.
My show gonna be 4th. Prime. I told Prime I'm getting a job at Rock the Bells one day, so I'm gonna be number 4.
Well, just get that man to autograph one of them Kangos for me. That's all I need.
I got you.
But this was fun. Again, don't take stock in this list. This is who we feel. We didn't give you no order, with the exception of what's up.
I'm sorry. Can we do an honorable mention? Can we do some honorable mention?
Go ahead. Yeah.
All right, man. Nobody talked about Big Crit. Man. Big Crit need to be on that list somewhere too.
Crazy.
That's tough.
Well, like I said, I'll go to Memphis and give Project Pat some credit. You know what I'm saying? I would. You know what? I want to do a Texas one another day, excluding Scarface, because the state of it got to make it difficult, because Scarface is the easy no-brainer, but the state of Texas has some rappers, man, and I've been a big fan of Texas rap for the longest, from the Paul Walls to the Slim Thugs to the Mike Joneses to Millionaires, fucking Fat Pats, Lil Kiki's, all I'm there with that. But Project Pat, I gotta go to Memphis, because that dark ass 3-6 sound was it infected itself within me. It's just I love that sound to this day. Not too much of the newer cats, like rest in peace to Young Dolph and all them. Like I wasn't fans of like his style music. Shout outs to I don't think he's from Memphis, but Duke Deuce, who's bringing back that crunk sound. Like I like that shit. Like, but if I have to give my honorable mention to anybody, it's Project Pat.
Always in my face.
I would say just because he brought it up, a quick honorable mention. I don't understand either people like him or they don't like him, but I like Jeezy, man. I think I like Jeezy. Might not be the greatest lyrically, but the stuff bangs. So,
Yeah.
I guess my honorable mention would have to be T.I. then.
Oh, for sure.
Not for me. Not for me. One of my least favorite rappers.
T.I., really?
You ain't like his older work? You ain't like his older work?
I would rather listen to the man talk. I would love to have a conversation with him. But musically, he didn't do nothing for me. It's just me. He didn't do nothing for me.
Trap music and urban legends were fire. Like we were talking about Lil Wayne earlier. If you haven't watched in a long time, or if you haven't seen it at all, if you go back to the old Netflix, the Hip Hop Evolution joints, if you don't remember a lot of stuff you forgot, the joint on T.I. and the joints on Lil Wayne and in their early beginnings, some of the stuff you forgot on the mixtapes, some of the most fire stuff you ever see.
I believe it. Like I said, he is just one of those guys. I respect what he's done. Do I think he's whack? No. His stuff, just like I mentioned with Cole, his music wasn't for me.
Word up.
But another name though that a lot of people was niggas need to give 2 Chainz his fucking respect too.
Good one.
Riding around and I'm getting it.
What number was he? What number was he on the list?
I don't think he was on the list. Let me double check it.
There's no way he's not on the list. Come on now.
Oh no, 2 Chainz was number 19 on that list.
Okay, I was about to say.
And that's
But Chainz,
22.
Trick Daddy
forgot
say
which-
hello to everybody, just so for record, just throwing that out there.
you want to talk some now rapper, he wasn't like, but he knew how to make songs.
Yeah.
And no, I was gonna say Tech Nine, but he's more technically Midwest.
Yeah, Missouri, so
Kansas City, Missouri, more Midwest. So
yeah.
we'll have y'all back and we'll have that kind of conversation again. But definitely I want to touch Texas. I want to go in on Texas. As long as y'all are willing to come back to have that conversation,
I'm with it.
let's do that. And
You know.
y'all are welcome at any time to come back. So this is your second time. Amakra, this is your second time. Prime, this is your first. So because it's your first Prime, you get first crack at final shout outs.
Just want to shout out everybody, man. I just want to say, thank y'all for having me on. I appreciate y'all. And hey, anytime y'all, when we about to expand and do some other things, we're going to get back to the YouTube thing a little bit too. But anytime, either one of y'all good brothers, if y'all want to come on with us, we usually record on Sunday. Sometimes it's usually early, like if you're up 10:30, 45 minutes to an hour, whatever. And hip hop, sports, television, movies. If you drink beer, yeah, that's what we do. So come through. But I appreciate y'all, man.
Me. I don't know what he pointing at.
Anybody go. It's all right. Anybody go.
Yeah, shout out to who am I shouting out? I ain't not shouting out anybody. Shout out to me for being I'm just joking. Shout out to hip hop for giving us a connection and a platform, giving me a platform for real. And thanks for having us on. Thanks for having me on again, Dan. Appreciate it. And before I finish, Dan, I know we didn't get to it, but how much De La do you have in your collection?
I would have to probably go back and download because I don't have a lot of music on my hard drive right now. Ever since I changed computers, I lost a lot of shit in transition. So, but yeah, I could get it. I could get it because I did back when De La Soul had. I got to see what hard drive I have it on. But remember when De La Soul had the first fight with Tommy Boy, in order to get their masters back. They offered their whole catalog free for download.
Yep.
I jumped on that shit.
Yep. I got it somewhere myself.
So I gotta find it. So, but I
I
think
don't
I
even
know
know
what. So I think I know. We just lost stores. I think I know what he's hinting towards.
I do. Yeah.
And it requires me to have plug in my turntables and shit. And I'm still not ready to do that just yet. But like I said, I knew what you were kind of hinting towards, Source, but if I walk you in the house right now, you can see all my equipment stacked up in cases. I got to be inspired. But no, I left it alone purposely because the idea I had for doing what we talked about,
Mhm.
these niggas didn't show up.
Got you.
So we left it alone. We left it alone, and we'll do that another time after you pull it off on yours.
Okay.
We'll save that. We'll save that for Source and Company page on TikTok. Please go follow Amaku. Make sure you're following the Sports Bar on TikTok also. Amaku.
All right, shit, I got much to shout out, man. Shout out to Lawrence and shout out to Parkchester. You know, shout out to the show, man, for giving me the opportunity and a voice, man, and hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like you man Source said, man, we could all sit here and vibe for hours on end, you know, and still, you know, we may not come to a common bond, but common answer, but at least when we walk away, you know, you'll give us time to think about it and reminisce and romanticize, like I said before. So I love topics like this, man, all day.
And that's why for a person like myself, it's culture over everything. It's the hip hop culture.
Yes, sir.
Y'all can say what y'all want about, but the niggas who know me know it's hip hop culture, rap music. Hip hop culture
Right.
brought this connection together. Rap music, one of the caveats of it. But if it wasn't for the love of the culture, this podcast probably wouldn't have been what it was in the beginning. If it wasn't for the love of hip hop culture, the conversation today wouldn't have been there. Culture first over everything. That's why I love the shirt that the brother produced. Hip hop over everything. But I identify it as culture over everything, not just the music. Because when you just people just throw the label of hip hop on rap and just automatically think rap music. If it wasn't for that right there, we wouldn't have none of this shit. If it wasn't for the writers, which debatable conversation that I've had for many a times, if it wasn't for the writers, we might not have the culture we have today. If it wasn't for the young rebels that were black, white, brown, purple, and yellow, like the what's the name? Sugar Hill songs mentioned. This culture might not have been. It is our culture, but this culture has always had everybody in it. And we continue to allow anybody and everybody to come be a part of the conversation here on the Starting Five. So make sure y'all are hitting that QR code at the top. It's the boy the mayor. Peace. We'll see y'all.